Hey everybody, welcome back to day 2, Breakfast with Bob from Challenge Championship. My name is Bob Babbitt. We are brought to you by Master Spas, HOKA, Fly Human Fly, deboer Wetsuits, the Outrigger Kona Resort and Spa, and of course our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest, this will be his final race as a professional, Mr. Richard Varga, who is actually from Slovakia. So this is totally fitting for this to be your final race. Mixed emotions going into this?
Yeah, thank you. Finally, when it's my last race, I could hang on with you on by the side, because I was watching you since a long time ago, watching all the interviews with Jan Frodeno,
yes,
Sebi and stuff, and I really like your interviews. And I know you since, when I was in San Diego.
Yes.
With Katie Hall. So,
yeah,
and I went watching you. You had a good interview with Javier Gomez.
There, yes.
A long time ago, like 13, 14 years ago.
That was at the San Diego Tri Club.
Yes.
Yes,
Exactly.
That was really fun. Yeah. We had, and we also interviewed Alistair Brownlee around sort of that same era. And so, 4-time aquathon world champion, right? So moving from aquathon to triathlon because of your awesome swim background, how tough was that transition?
I mean, I was trying just the goal was always the triathlon, and the aquathlon, it was just the kind of side job, because I knew that's my like a specialty, that I can swim away from the people and hang on the run. And edited the bike, that was a challenge, because then most of the time everything came together before the run, and that was the challenging part. But a big part of that, my development, was training with the Brownies, and that pushed me to the elite level.
Well, then you guys really decided to start working at this Iron Tour, which was a cool event in France back in the day, right? How many people were on the team?
We were, I think, 5. And we had 5 different days and 5 different races on different places.
Yes,
so kind of like a tour, yes.
That's so fun.
It was so much fun.
And so that's when you got to spend some quality time with Alistair and Johnny.
Yes. That's how we met, and we were in the same team, Sartreville. And we became really close friends since that, and they called me like, look, Richard, if you want to come join us for some training camp or come to Leeds, you welcome. And that's I took that opportunity. My English was still not great that moment, and they were really fine. They took me, and yeah, I just learned so much from them. And
from their perspective, especially heading into London, they needed every edge they can get. And from your perspective, if I'm going to be in the Olympic Games, I want to make sure that there's as few people as possible in the run, right, by the time you get to the run. So if you could help those guys go faster in the swim, and then that you were able to hang on during the bike ride, you win and they win.
Yeah. It was a win-win situation for us both. It was beneficial. I think lots of people were always asking me, like, I'm working for them, but they don't understand I was working for them, but also for me. And also when Javier Gomez was there, also for him, because that was also for him beneficial position before the run.
Yes. I mean, from the less guys who are 28-minute 10K guys who are with you at the end of the bike ride, because if everybody comes out of the water together and people ride around in circles, that was sort of the reputation of ITU racing back then. And Alistair and Javi changed that.
Yes.
Because they started attacking on the bike because, hey, I don't want 20 guys with us off the run. I was going into the run. The less is more for us.
Yeah.
So it was great for you as well.
Perfect. It was perfect match for us, and we tried to replicate. Everyone knew the tactic. It will be the same. Go as hard as possible from the swim, keep going on the bike, and finish it with the run. There was no different strategy, It was always the same.
No surprises.
No surprises.
So that they get gold, bronze, and Javi gets silver in London. So that worked really well.
Yes.
And then they get gold and silver in Rio.
Yes.
Where you guys did it again.
Yes.
That's so cool.
It was very
good.
How
did you finish up in those races?
I came 22nd in London and 11 in
Rio.
Yeah.
Did you Tokyo as well?
Yeah, I didn't go to Tokyo.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I was really close, but I didn't make it.
But those 2 Olympic experiences had to be pretty special.
Yeah, especially, I mean, for London, that's because I was training with them at home.
Yes.
And people know me. They recognize me as their own.
You're a Leeds resident now.
So I felt like this is my in home country race, you know. So it was amazing to lead up before the race. And the race was just something, it blew my mind.
Well, and think about the pressure on those guys. I remember talking to Alistair, and he was saying the morning of the race, they're sitting on a couch in their living room, and all the news stations are like, well, the Brownlees will be winning gold and silver this afternoon. And that's a little bit of pressure. It's one thing to race the Olympics, but in your home country, when you're expected to win and then winning, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a high pressure.
So Slovakia, how does a kid from Slovakia get into the sport of triathlon?
Yeah, I was lucky enough that I had an older brother who was a swimmer. I was swimming too because my mom was a swimming teacher and she was a represent really high level swimmer. Mm-hmm. So the path was from the swim there. And my brother, because he had some issues, he started cycle and running with his ears. And then suddenly he find out the triathlon. So
yes.
So I was just replicate him and try to like go the same way. And so I tried like when I was 12, maybe 11, first triathlons on the summer times. And since that I was just on the summer doing triathlon, and during the year I was just swimmer.
Right.
Till 19 years old, when then I decided, okay, enough was swimming and doing laps, and the triathlon things seems like a good fun.
Right, and so making the transition from the Olympic distance to the 70.3, the challenge distances. Because I looked at your World Triathlon, 165 starts, 19 podiums, 8 wins. I mean, that's a lot of race. That's 2 careers, and then you start this new career. It's like it's basically a brand new sport when you start talking about longer distance. How hard was it for you to adapt to going longer?
Well, I think from the start it was quite hard because you need to use to the aero position and riding and the nutrition for the longer distance. Mm-hmm. But I think I pick up quite good. The problem was, and I think why I finishing now is that I do it too late. As you described, I did 165 races all around the
Olympics.
world.
Two
Olympics, and just my body just couldn't handle so much stress on the body.
Right, and also just mentally, I'm sure, just it's a lot of time to be out there.
Yes. So since I met Brownlees, till maybe last 2 years, I didn't spend too much time at home, you know. So I was traveling around the world all the time. So it's good to slow down a little bit and be back home.
Varga Triathlon Academy.
Yeah.
What do you're obviously growing the sport here.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Yes, that's my passion, that I want to grow the sport here in Slovakia and put all that experience I had from the races and the knowledge, because I was study on the university, sports science. Mm-hmm. So I want to put on next level, once the performance level, but also like general, the public, just bring the triathlon to the people and to the public.
And you've raced this race how many times?
Well, I think 4 or 5 times. Yes.
Wait, and you were second here in 2022.
Yes,
right?
That was my best.
That was your best. And 2017, were you 11th?
Yeah, could be.
Yep. A couple of DNFs we're going to talk about.
Yes. That is fine.
Let's focus on the second.
Yeah.
That's very cool. The Olympic experience, going to your first Olympics in 2012, like you said, you were connected with the Brownlees. It's their home country. It must have felt like your home race as well. Yeah,
for sure. That there were so many people, but they were cheering me and they knew my name, and I felt I am more popular in England than here, because I don't know why they always remember that I was swimming backstroke on the Olympics, and that's kind of like highlight.
Wait. You were swimming backstroke to make sure that those guys were still with you.
Yes, exactly. Because Alistair and Johnny told me before the race, just make sure
Don't drop us.
someone is on your feet, because it doesn't make sense when you go alone, you know.
So was the setup that they would tap your feet every once in a while so you knew they were still there? Or
I wanted to push a little bit, so I almost dropping them, but not enough, you know. So the pace is as high as possible, you know. It's make it hard for everyone also behind them.
Right.
Yeah.
How many people were out of the water together in 2012?
We came 5. It was me, Johnny, Alistair, Javier, and Alessandro Fabian.
Well, and I'm sure that Alistair would probably prefer Javi wasn't there, but he sort of knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, we knew that it's very hard to drop.
You can't
Javier
drop
from the
Javier.
swim.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
yes.
can't get rid of that guy. It's not going anywhere. So, do you move right into working on the academy after you retire?
Yes. I already started last year, a little bit build up, and this year we have already like 70 members. We have a group of the coaches.
Yes.
So they were national chess champions or trying to get to the Olympics for different sports.
Yes.
And we try to build like really strong coaching hub where you meet the best of the best from the country and support the athletes.
So watching, since you're so close to Brownlee's and seeing what they did with the Brownlee Foundation, what they've gotten like over 50,000 kids, I think, into the sport. That would be a good model for you.
Yeah, that's my next goal. Is just you starting from somewhere, from the scratch, and that's very similar. What I would like to do, bring to the kids to the school to try it out. What is triathlon about? And I think because people knew that swimming is fun, cycling is fun, and run is good for you, but they don't know you can do it all together.
Right.
And I think it's a good for kids, good skill to learn, you know. Even they will not never do a triathlon.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but if you learn to swim, you're not gonna draw. If you learn to cycle, it gives you
gives you freedom.
Gives you
Get out
freedom.
there and look around and see what's going on.
And athletics, running, is the most natural movement of the human body.
And anytime you travel, you need a pair of shoes. That's all you need. You need to go for a run.
Exactly.
It's easy. And it's a great way to see wherever you're going.
Exactly. That's true.
With all that, 165 starts, that's crazy. What was your favorite race?
Favorite race? I really, Auckland, New Zealand. That was pretty cool. Yeah, San Diego was cool when I was there.
Were you there for that ITU race? That was like 2011, 2012, right in that era?
Yes, I did that. Yeah. It was very good time. I remember it was good fun. I was with Alistair and with Katie. I met you. So I felt like that is the place where it all started. So
it is.
So it's something a little bit special on that place.
What do you think the emotions are going to be coming across the finish line for the last time?
Yeah, it's gonna be. I can't even talk because it's gonna be emotional, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to do it here because I have a family here. I didn't want to do anywhere else because lots of people were standing behind me during the whole years, and that's why I wanted to do it. To make like thank you for them, especially
for all the support,
for all the support I got at home, and share the moment with them.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's going to be really fun watching that moment when you come across. Now, are you one of those guys that's, okay, I'm done as a pro, but I'll still do age group stuff? What do you think? You think you still jump in some relays or things like that?
Yeah, we'll see of the whole health, of the how I will feel. And also mentally at the moment, I think I can't see myself just doing some random amateur races.
Right.
It's just because the mentality, keeps you to pushing.
Right.
And because my health is not that great, so I need to look of my body more.
Your health's not that great. You mean just a lot of niggles?
Yeah, it's just niggles, injuries. Like I had through whole career like Achilles problem. So I always struggle with that. And
like Alistair.
Exactly, and I couldn't run, and that was my Achilles heel.
Seriously, yeah. So you couldn't put the training in.
I couldn't put the training in, and that was the most important segment of the triathlon, and I couldn't make it better. So that was this, and my immunity is not great. I always, when I push my body a little bit now, for last 2 years, it just gets sick or doesn't feel like good,
Getting older is a bitch.
Yeah, yeah. I can tell. Like I mean, I'm only 36 old, but you know, it
165 races, buddy.
Exactly.
165.
Exactly.
That's not including the thousands of training sessions.
Exactly, because people say, you are not as old because Jan Frodeno did 41. You know, it's a benchmark, but I'm saying that's the outlier. That's like top of the pinnacle. You know, so not everyone can handle that much physical and that much mental stress as other people. You know.
So as somebody who had that huge background in swimming, did you still have to train for swimming or not as much?
Yeah.
You sort of faked your way through that?
Yeah, I was actually counting how much I swam since November, the last race.
Yeah.
And it's like 10% of I used to do.
Yeah.
So I dropped lots of mileage. I mean, I still love it, but because I start with the academy, the time is going there.
Right.
And I doing sessions in the morning, and then I jump in the water. And then if I feel like I don't have energy for it, I just skip it, and that's done.
I love it. Thank you so much for taking time. Congratulations on a great career.
Thank you very
much. Going
to
2 Olympic Games is pretty amazing. The fact that you're such a great role model for the sport here in Slovakia. Congrats,
thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure to have a finally talk with you.
Richard Varga has been our guest again. Breakfast with Bob from Challenge Championship. Hold on. We will be right back.